Thanks for coming out tonight. First of all, I'd like to thank Larry Benson and his staff and for allowing us to do this here and for putting us on. And I do appreciate that. I appreciate you all coming out tonight, taking time out of your busy evenings to come out here and listen to me. And obviously, a balanced budget would be the goal. I think it should be the goal for every city or for any agency. I made a comment at the last meet and greet that I had that I felt that the city should be run like a business. And I got a lot of resistance from one person in particular. And he said, no, the city should never be run as a business. And I think he was thinking of it in terms of the way you conduct business. Yeah. I think that businesses or cities have to be run like a business in the sense that you make money, you spend money, and you have to have some accountability for it. You can't keep spending money when you don't have it. So you have to have a balanced budget. You have to live within your budget, and when you set a budget up, you live within those parameters. We all have to do it in our own lives. Why shouldn't the city have to do it? And as far as developing more income for the city and bringing more revenue in. Again, I think that we've been missing the boat for years. When Measure A passed, that was the scapegoat. It really was, because our city government kept saying, you know what, we're screwed. We're never going to be able to have a nice store in here. We're never going to be able to have the kinds of service and amenities we have because nobody's going to move here. We can't build homes anymore. Nobody will move here. Well, guess what? People are still moving here, and people still want to live here. The problem is that we don't have the kinds of businesses, like I said, and the anchor type of businesses and stores that are going to attract other businesses into the community. We have a huge issue with our permit process and the way we treat people that do want to do business here. In the construction business and in the building community out there, there are businesses like Walgreens, for example, that when they move to a city, they have their own builders. They have their own people that come in to set up shop. They build their building because they build them everywhere. And they know the process. They've built millions of them. Well, maybe not millions, but they've built a lot of them around the country. They know how to do it. They know what they need, and they know the process. And the word out there, and I know because I've been in the construction industry, and I'm pretty tight with a lot of these people, is the word in Tracy is don't go to Tracy, because you're going to be jumping through hoops to get permits, and then you're going to be jumping through more hoops after you get those. And Da Vinci's is a perfect example down here. When Mike opened his business, the city came in and said, okay, here's your check sheet. You need to do this, 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 and this. Get this done, and you're good to go. So he got all that stuff done. The next inspector came in, looked at it, and said, okay, you got all that done, but now I want you to do this, 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 and this. And it just became a vicious circle for them. So when they were trying to get their permits taken care of, do the right thing, and get into business, they were losing money. They were losing money from the get-go. Famous Dave's over here. Famous Dave's filed bankruptcy because they were so many months behind in getting their store open. And in business, as I'm sure most of you know, when every day that you're delayed in opening a business, especially if you're taking out bank loans and financing the operation of your business, every day that you're delayed in opening your business and generating revenue to come in is a day of lost sales. It's kind of like closing your doors for a week and saying, you know what, we don't need the money anymore. It's the same kind of thing, and businesses don't want that. Businesses don't want to come here and be faced with that. So we need to change our whole culture and our whole way of thinking when it comes to partnering with businesses. When people want to come here and put in a business, man, our economic development people and our engineering staff ought to be saying, come on in. We want to help you. We'll show you what you need to do to build here and to get your business set up here. And especially if they're a store that's an anchor store or something that's going to help attract other businesses. When we have people bringing businesses in, we have tax revenue. We have sales going on. And that's the kind of thing that we have to keep doing. And we have to not only encourage the people here in our city that are already doing business to help bring other businesses in, but we need other businesses to understand that this is a business-friendly community, that we want you to come here, we want you to build, we want you to open your business here, and we want your money. We want your customers' money. Before the last campaign, I did kind of an underhanded thing.
You?
Yeah, me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I chair that entrepreneurs group through the Chamber of Commerce, and I knew what was going on, and I knew what the city's approach was. So the first person I invited in, we decided to set up a series of guest speakers to invite different city officials to come in and talk about this exact problem. So I invited the mayor to come in and talk about it. And of course, it was a campaign year. I thought, sure, he'll come in, he'll talk to us. And I didn't tell any of them what it was going to be about. So the first week, we invited the mayor to come in, and we set him down and said, okay, so this is the problem. What the hell are you going to do about it? And you know, we had people that were actually, you know, tightening the thumb screws on the mayor and saying, what the hell are you going to do about this? And of course, he said, well, you know what? I gave that task to the city manager, you know, and he's going to he's going to be tasked with you know, working with his people, engineering services and economic development, to work together, to put together a plan and to put together a group of people that are going to be like a point of contact. When a business comes into town and they apply for a permit, they go into this whole loop, and that's how we're going to handle it. So the next week, I invited the city manager in to our next meeting, and we said, okay, so the mayor tells us that this is what you've been charged with. What the hell are you doing? And of course he was like, well, blah, 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 you know, we have, well, I've turned that over to economic development and to engineering services. And we said, okay, so what's the plan? And he told us basically what the plan was and how they were going about this. And you know, it was still a work in progress, but they had the people and the names they were going to attach to all of these tasks, and this is how it was going to work. So the next meeting, guess who we invited in? Economic Development and Engineering Services. And we said, okay, so city manager tells us that you're in charge of this now. And they're like, well, yeah, you know, that's what our plan is. And we basically told everybody at the time, you know, we appreciate the fact that you came here and you talked to us about this, but, you know, we are businesses in the community, we are concerned people in the community, and we're going to be watching this process, and we're going to be keeping a close ear to the ground to see if it's working or not. Well, you know what? It's worked in some businesses, and it hasn't worked in others. As a matter of fact, we had a woman that joined or came to our entrepreneurs group for a couple of meetings who opened the Almost Everything store here in Tracy. Yeah. And she had some struggles, and she had some issues with getting permits. And you know, we've been, you know, documenting this stuff and keeping track of the progress of this. And you know, while it was a good concept and a good idea for a while, it doesn't seem to be working. And my feeling is that we need to get the Chamber of Commerce. And I've talked to Chad Wood, who's the president of the Chamber, about this, and some of the board members and members of the other groups and organizations in the Chamber. That, you know what, the Chamber needs to take a more active role in this community as far as getting involved with the city and saying, you know what, it's not the Chamber of Commerce's job to change policy in the city for you know, permits and the building process to be able to get in here. The Chamber of Commerce's job is to let them know that there is a commerce center here in Tracy, and you know, that we're welcoming you here. They're like the welcoming committee for businesses that do come here, and they do play a small role in helping, you know, attract businesses here, you know, through social networks and that type of stuff. But I think that the Chamber needs to get more aggressive with the city and say, you know what, you need to start marketing this town better, and you need to start doing something that's going to help attract businesses into this community. You know, it's one thing to put up some banners and tell people about the stuff we have going on, but it's another thing to let businesses know that we want you here, and we want you here for good. We want you to bring all your friend businesses along with you. So, did that answer your question, Chris?
Yeah.